Hi there, business owner, and welcome to the 3Bs podcast, the place where we go beyond the numbers and dive into strategies to help you build a better business one step at a time. I'm your host, Stephanie, a multi-award-winning entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in the bookkeeping and accountancy world. If you're a business owner looking to streamline, grow, and get back the time that you deserve, you're in the right place. We're tackling real-world problems, answering tough questions, and digging deep into business-building secrets in just 15 minutes each week. So are you ready to build a better business with confidence and clarity? Then let's go. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 3Bs podcast, your go-to 15 minutes of motivation, education and inspiration each week. As always, I'm your host Stephanie. Hi, and if you're new here, before you follow on with this episode, go back and listen to last week's episode 115, otherwise this one will not make any sense. If you are new here, do hit the notification bell on YouTube and subscribe, or if you're listening in on the podcast platforms, do rate and review and subscribe to those too, so that you know when our episodes go live every Thursday morning. If you listened to last week's episode and you're still here, hi, you know that not all introverts are the same, and hopefully you've done the quiz by now and you know what type of introvert you are, and that can completely change the way that you run your business. If you're someone who can be social but finds it really draining, if you prefer deep conversations to small talk, if you want connection but not constant visibility, then you just might be a social introvert. This episode, we're going to go into Social Introvert in much more detail and some strategies to help you build a better business your way if you are a social introvert. Let's get into it. So as we talked about last week, the term social introvert can sound a little bit like a contradiction, but it makes total sense when you break it down. And a social introvert is more of the stereotypical introvert we see talked about in the media and on social media. Unlike the preconception, social introverts do enjoy spending time with people, just not all the time. You're comfortable being social on your own terms, but you prefer meaningful one-to-one conversations, much smaller groups, and intentional connection. You don't like small talk, you don't like the flippant comments, and you don't like to be around a lot of people at once. If you're a social introvert, it's how you recharge that matters. You can show up to events, meetings, performing podcasts, but most likely you'll need time alone to reset. The problem is that most gurus on social media will tell you that you need to be online constantly, you need to be at every networking event and putting yourself out there in 17 different places every single day. And the problem is that if you're a social introvert, you're doing it wrong, it's going to lead to burnout, and it's just not going to help you. You're going to fall out of love with your business because things are harder than they need to be. So rather than listening to every guru on the internet, look at your social introvert type. There's 4 you can choose from. If you haven't yet done the quiz, go and do it. The link is in the show notes. It's also going to be on our social medias, and it will help you find your type. And once you know your type, you can implement strategies that will help you to still build a business, but without the burnout. So the first strategy I want to share with you as a social introvert is that you need to focus on connection and not constant exposure. You don't need to be visible 24/7. If you lead a personal brand-led business, you do not need to be visible 24/7. And if you're a product-based business, your business doesn't need to be visible 24/7. That you are constantly putting out there, you are constantly showing up. You need to show up intentionally where your audience actually is and build genuine trust. If you focus on those connections and not speaking to everyone and anyone, you're going to get less burnt out because you're not going to need to recharge that social battery just quite as regularly or as frequently. So if you don't like hanging out on Facebook and your audience don't hang out on Facebook, then don't show up on Facebook. Or outsource to somebody who does. You don't need to be doing it. If you're on your own as a solo entrepreneur, play to your strengths. Host regular one-to-one calls instead of huge live sessions. If you're somebody who does masterclasses, then if that group of people is too overwhelming for you, then make it one-to-one calls. Do power hours. That's what we do at ABCS UK. We don't do the big group calls or the big masterclasses because I like that one-to-one. I find it easier to connect rather than speak to everybody at once. I like to talk to one person. When I record these podcasts, I usually have one person in mind that I am talking to because I find that easier, less overwhelming, and doesn't deplete my social battery just quite as as quickly or severely. Sending voice notes to potential clients instead of cold messages is a really good way to focus on that connection over constant exposure. We can all copy and paste those spammy DM messages. We all receive those spammy copy and paste DM messages. 9 times out of 10, they haven't even changed your name in it. If you're going to send voice notes, then that's probably an easy way to get to know them and build that connection from the beginning. I do get a few videos and voice notes on LinkedIn on the DMs quite regularly from people that are looking at me as a potential client and want to sell to me, and I always take the time to listen to them because actually they've made the effort to send that personalised, deeper connection of a message rather than just sending out cold messages that have copied and pasted and got my name wrong. And if you are looking to build a community, build one in a small private space. Have a membership or a Slack group and focus on connecting with a small number of people and limiting the number of people if it needs to be that way. Don't focus on reach quite as much because then you are attracting more aligned clients and you won't exhaust yourself doing it. You'll be getting clients in through the door that are more suited to you, and 9 times out of 10 they will be a social introvert too. So actually when we have a new client calls ABCS UK, they come on a video call usually first, but we always ask them if it's like a phone call or a video call. And some people hate being on the phone, so they want to do it via email. Now there's times when you have to go on video and you have to meet these people. I'm not saying never ever do it. We have anti-money laundering regulations at the practice that have to be adhered to. So we do have to meet every single client and ensure they are who they say they are. But actually to remove the anxiety, to remove the stress of that first initial meeting, if we can make it easier for our clients, then that's what we're going to do. Strategy number 2, batch your energy, don't spread it thin. Now this is what I'm really starting to work on. As a social introvert, showing up takes energy. Even if you enjoy the interaction, I love coming to do this podcast each week. I loved speaking on stage at Accountex. It was a big goal of mine on the goal board for a long time, but it is exhausting. So instead of booking meetings throughout the week or posting content every single day or setting yourself a challenge to just go and post as 1 or 2 days a week, try batching. So this might mean grouping your client calls into just 1 or 2 days a week, so you only do sales calls or client calls on a Monday and a Wednesday, for example. Scheduling your content creation for once a week, once a month, whatever it may be. Pre-recording videos or podcasts in one go and then resting the next day. So usually I've been coming on here on a Monday morning, recording the podcast, editing it, scheduling it, and it goes out to you on the Thursday. What I am starting to do and what we will be doing going forward is actually recording those in batches, so that one Monday a month I do a whole month's worth, because that way I can manage my energy on my terms and I'm not having to constantly switch between that being on and being off mode, because that on mode definitely drains the battery so much quicker. And finally, if you are a business owner who is a social introvert and going to these big networking meetings fill you with dread, then let your clients do the talking. Social introverts often build incredible trust with clients because they're thoughtful, they listen and they deliver, and that personal service and that high level, high touch point service makes them natural candidates for referral-based growth. Instead of constantly chasing leads online, you can lean into word of mouth with your existing clients. This works really well if you're a service-based business. I haven't had to market my practice. The first 2.5 years of my practice, I didn't do any form of marketing, which, let me tell you, comes as a great big shock when suddenly you need to start doing that to continue your rate of growth. So instead of constantly chasing leads online, create a simple referral process or a thank you incentive. So what we do at ABCS UK is we offer a discount on their invoice, depending on the number of clients that actually come through and sign up through them, so that they get a reduction on the bill. They're not spending as much, but we're building our client base in the process. A thank you incentive works well as well. So if you have referred, you can offer a discount code, you could offer an additional free product if you're product based. A thank you incentive. Sometimes it can be as simple as adding a packet of sweets or a sticker into an order if you're product based. Those little touches go a long way to making your clients feel valued, and then they're going to recommend you to other people. Ask happy clients to leave a testimonial or introduce you to someone. I think as business owners, we need to get better at asking, do you know anyone who? Could you leave a testimonial? I've now started automating that process. What we've started doing at ABCS UK is every quarter we have a meeting. We've always done it. We do a quarterly review of our clients. We look at their accounts, their finances, we plan the next quarter. When that's booked into the diary, they get an automated email, and then they get one a week before and one a day before, just to remind them that their service is coming up, that their meeting's coming up, whether it's in person, online, whatever it may be. I've now set it so that automatically 1 hour after that meeting finish time in the diary, they get an email saying, thank you for coming to see me today. Let me know if you've got any more questions. If you've got 60 seconds, can you just leave me a Google review and then put the link in? And those Google reviews then become your content, they then become your social proof. And I even put a line in there that says, if you've already done it, thank you so much. If anything's changed and you'd like to update it, that would also mean the world. Every quarter now, my clients are going to get that. And even if a small percentage actually fill it in, that's testimonials that I can use to help me find more clients. Again, automating the follow-up so it doesn't rely on you being on is a great one too. So when you send a proposal to a client, if you're service-based, a lot of these are service-based because that's how I run my business, so I can give you personal experience. So automating that follow-up. So when a proposal goes out, the follow-up emails are already put into Outlook, which is what we use, ready to go, into your email provider. Your follow-up, you're going to do it via video, record the video when you send the proposal out, and then just schedule it to go later on. Because then you don't have to be on, you could be at home, you could be on a recharge time, you could be having an office day where you don't talk to anyone and you get some deep work done, but that follow-up is still being done, so it doesn't stop the growth in your business. As your business grows, your reputation grows, and then you don't have to be everywhere at once, but you're still going to gain the benefits by leaning into being a social introvert. So to recap, if you are a social introvert, you can be social, you just need space to recover, and put in those hours, days in your diary, either side of big social events, is going to help you recharge in the best way possible. And again, that recharging doesn't need to be not working on the business or in the business. You just need to do work that doesn't require you to be social. Do the back end stuff, do the things that, if you want to do emails, do them and then schedule them to go out so that you've not got the worry of having to reply to them, but you know that task is dealt with. Remember that you work best in a small, meaningful environment, so have a look at your business, make sure that it's working in the best way for you, and you don't need to be loud to be successful. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions as a business owner. You don't need to be loud out there, live on social media every single day in order to build a successful business. It's important to play to your strengths and not someone else's playbook. Of the strategies I've given you today, maybe one would work, maybe two would work, maybe none would work. What business you have is unique to you, but you need to play to your strengths. If you're a social introvert, look at ways that you can use that to your advantage. And if you're not sure of what type of introvert you are yet, and you've made it this far in this episode, then do go and take the quiz. It is live and it gives you insight into how to actually grow your business in a way that actually suits you. It's in the show notes, you'll find it on social media. If you do take the quiz, let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you think anything is missing. Let me know of any way you can improve it. Send me an email. I would love to hear from you. And then next week we're going to move on to the thinking introvert, which is the strategic, idea-driven business owner who is in their head sometimes a bit too much and needs help turning those thoughts into action. As always, if you found this episode useful, please do like, rate and review wherever you are listening to it to help me push this out to more business owners. And if you do have any feedback or any topics you'd like us to cover on the 3Bs podcast, do let us know that too. I'd love to hear from you. See you next week. Bye. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the 3Bs podcast. I hope you found it useful and that you're walking away with some motivation, inspiration, or education to help you build a better business. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and of course connect with us on social media for more insights, tips, and behind the scenes content. Your next step in building a better business is just a click away. I can't wait to connect with you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.